to another video. This topic is called The Narrative of the Caucasian Man. I believe I've already posted The Narrative of the Caucasian Man, so I'm just going to tell y'all what I think about it, and I'm going to tell y'all things that y'all need to know, because the people that are my color, okay, my skin color, African American, Black, whatever you want to call yourselves, and my race, they need to understand that all the history is going to be taken out, okay? It's going to be taken out very soon, okay? Black books, and I could show you like a whole bunch of pictures and a whole bunch of videos that I could have. Black books and African American history has been erased, okay? It's finna be modified, it's finna be dated, and we finna go back to the Jim Crow laws and back to those rules where segregation happened, and back to those rules where the Ku Klux Klan, and back to those white supremacies outlets. But guess what? We have always been under a white supremacy government, agencies, and a whole bunch of different facilities, people. So it really doesn't make sense to, say that we're not, we've never been freed, okay? And we're not going to be free until we learn the truth of how to become free. And this is partially the truth of how to become free. Now, it's a whole different part to it, different sections, it's different videos, and it's different topics I can talk about. Now, I'm going to give you some gems up here. It's your ability or your responsibility, if you want to, is to take down the notes or to at least apply them to your life some way, somehow, some shape, or some form, okay? Because when I talk to you, I'm going to talk to you about multiple things, but the topic is what I said. So as I said in the previous video, I don't know if I posted on YouTube or not, but I said the Jews later studying the mind and the physical behaviors of the human body, and it concentrates of the pattern of the evolution of every single soul and every single human being on a timeline to make sure all of the people are aligned together. And what makes them separate, he has to study the universal patterns, first of how we evolve and how we process thinking, then he gets prepared for or what he acts on next. So if there's a new rebirth in the cosmos, that means there's been an atmosphere, and that means we're going to fulfill the divine shift. The God, okay, the goal, like I already said, is to get us away from the divine source, the natural sources that God connected us to, which is him, any way possible. Now, I'm going to break it down. The Jews leaders are studying the mind and the physical behavior. It is the first thing that I said of the human body, and it concentrates the pattern of evolution, every single soul and every single timeline. How do we know that we became from a atom to a cell to a fetus to just different things in life? How do we know we evolved? Because first of all, we don't, back in the days when we didn't have technology and it wasn't advanced, and we didn't have preparations to see into the future, or we didn't have things to lead us and to guide us to say, well, this is what the present looks like, this is what the future looks like. We were literally dwelling on the past, and I'm talking about in the 18s, I'm talking about in the 17s, I'm talking about in the 16s. For all the older people that are out there, y'all can actually understand what I'm saying. All these different technologies that man is using today is not advanced. It's not, oh my gosh, it's so output and it's so outpouring. No, it's not advanced. Really, it is behind level, if we're being quite honest. But that's a different gem. Like I said, that's another gem. It's a different story, right? But the first thing that I want to talk about is, how did we know that we evolved from different stages of life? That's the first thing. Okay, because nowhere in the Bible does it talks about how exactly we were shaped and how exactly we were formed. Now, it talks about what we were made out of, the abilities, what we can do, what we can see, what we can feel, what we can hear, and all other types of examples. It does talks about that, but it doesn't give them divine instructions to make AI or technology. So where did the AI technology come from? Where did the experience of looking at your own baby from a MRI scope or from a X-ray vision, where did that come from? And this has something to do with the thing that I said, we couldn't see into the future. Like back in the millennials times, we could not see into the future because we didn't know what the day consist of. We was taking one day at a time because the technology was not even brought into be about. Like there was no such thing as, okay, I gotta, call on the phone and I gotta do, no, like there was no technology at all. So they couldn't see past like whatever they used to use back then. And that's why I said you people that y'all the people that came way before my time, y'all can actually understand and agree with me when I say this. But where do we get the advanced technology from? Where did we get the AI? Where did we get the systems? Where did we get those functions from? Of course, we could say it's Albert Einstein. Of course, we could say it's different scientists and different discoveries and different planets were made and different things happened. So of course it's going to be a different output, or of course it's going to be a different universe that happens for us, just unlocks for us. But what was the method? The method was to steal the ancestors' code. Now, in the ancestors' days, back in when you were kings and queens and high priests and high royalties, right? And I can't tell you the exact timeline because the exact timeline for every civilization and every society was different because they all broke themselves down into different functions. And for every different society, they all had an upcoming, just like they had a downcoming, they all had an upcoming season. And when we had an upcoming season, they were so advanced in the knowledge of mathematics, of any academic area that you know to be science, chemistry, math, whatever it is, any academic area, they would have shown and proved to you that they are the masters at it. How did they do that? Because guess what? They were with a prophet that was teaching them how to get the instructions of what God wants to produce. First, he wants to produce teachers. Then he wants to produce students. Then he wants to produce preachers. Then he wants to produce pastors. Then he wants to produce this, that, and the third. And it just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going. Until, yeah, we still have the same functions today. So, of course, you know what I'm talking about. But the Caucasian man specifically, he didn't have the things that we had. And you can look back in his ancestral DNA. He did not have that rule or authority or kingdom or anything that we have today. He did not have that. So he took it from us. How did he take it from us? By studying our every moves. The first one was the academic part. How much of math do we know? How much of science do we know? How much of chemistry do we know? How much of English do we know? How much of our language do we know? Because we were all in one language. Okay, now back in the day, all the way back in the ancestral days, we all had one language, and that's what kept us united. Okay, and now this is going to be a side gem because this is not going to be a long topic, and it's not going to be something that I'm going to be keep speaking about it, but I'm going to make this another video. But the reason why we all separated and divided into nations because we spoke different languages and we had different thoughts, and there were going to be a shift that God placed on earth because he wanted his people to be maintain the discipline, maintain the focus, maintain the faith, and he wanted them to establish a new civilization. He wanted them to establish a new kingdom. He wanted them to establish new people, new ways of thinking, and the only way he can establish that is by separating us from the old ways. And that's what he does in the Bible, and that's what he does in the Quran, and that's what he does in the Torah, and that's what he does in any book that you read that's gospel, any book that you read that's holy, any book that you read that's purified. You will find that everything has to go through a separation. Everything has to go through its stages. Just like it's an uppouring stage, it's going to be a downpouring stage as well. And I've been saying this in my videos, so it's nothing to, it's not new. Okay, now the fact that is he has to study us on an academic level. So the Caucasian, the white man, whatever you want to call this man, he has been studying us for a long period of time, since ancestral time, which means when we controlled Europe, when we controlled Asia, when we controlled Africa, when we controlled all of the western and I think that's the eastern, but all of the eastern and the western hemisphere, we controlled all of it. It was all in our nature, and it was all in our divine power, because we are the natural rulers of the earth. Now, who are the black people? The black people means the Japanese people, the Chinese people, and I've said this in my videos lots of times. The Japanese people, the Chinese people, the Hispanic, the Latino, the Puerto Rican, the Dominican, the Venezuela's every single person that does not look white, that does not have a white accent, that don't dance white, that don't eat white, that don't sound white, is, guess what? And even if you say, well, I'm mixed, my grandma, my granddaddy, my great grandpa, my great granddaddy, my mama, my daddy, my sister, my brother, they're mixed. You are still black. Them black genes, like they say, them old people be saying, them black genes run far. Them black genes run some roots. Dig up some ground, dig up some graves. Cause baby, when I tell you black genes can make your whole appearance look way better than half of what you would have went through if you were white. And I'm not saying white genes don't look good. Y'all look good, but not as good as the originals, okay? And I have to also tell you this as a side gem. We got here first. The black man and the black woman was discovered and was created first. And then the white man and the white woman was crafted out of our nature, right? Because think about it, and this is just, technically speaking, right? If you mix all the colors together, what do you get? I'm talking about yellow, green, red, brown, orange, pink, gold, silver. I'm talking about all the colors. What do you get? You get black. That's why black comes first, because it's the last color that you get. What scripture is that? Whatever is first will come last, and whatever is last will come first. We were the first creations to be and to walk on this planet. Adam and Eve was black. Noah was black. Moses was black. Abraham, Jesus was black. All the people and the prophets and the messengers, they're black. Okay? They are black. Now, I'm going to get, because this is a side gem. Like I said, this is not the title of the topic. This is not the original topic. And I have to keep telling myself that, because I will go off board and I will just keep talking just because I'm talking and I have a camera in front of my face and I just like to talk. Okay, so now we have to look back at this, the academic part. Like I was saying, like they were studying the academic part. So they didn't have a nation. They didn't have people to support them. They were actually the animals. You know how they always used to like use this saying. I know y'all go by this saying, and the saying is like, oh, well, we're the sophisticated ones because black people, how they discovered black people were mammals, they were apes, they were monkeys, and that's why they got the big nose and the big lips and the big eyes and the big ears and all of that, because they are species, they're creatures, they're animals and different things in that nature. And I don't think I talk about this in another one of my videos, but that is absolutely untrue. Okay, when the white man came up, when he was brought aboard, guess what? He couldn't speak, he couldn't hear, he couldn't think for himself, he couldn't walk for himself, he couldn't breathe for himself, he couldn't do anything by himself. He needed another person. What did the other person do? That person was black. That person, now, we're not talking about religion. We're not talking about nationality. That person could have been black and they could have been mixed with, Caribbean. They could have been mixed with Hispanic. They could have been mixed with Dominican. They could have been mixed with Puerto Rican. They could have been mixed with Portuguese. They could have been mixed with any of these other races, right? But a black man had came and taught a white man everything he knows, because we were here, created, made, and established first. Okay? That's just a little side request. So put that in your notes. Now, the second part. They studied the academic parts where they had to figure out the basics. So what we're figuring out in school, yes, our education system, the basics of trigonometry, the basis of geometry, the basis of any other type of math, because I'm not really good at math, lol, y'all know I'm not really good at math, but any other type of creative math that they created, right? Guess what? It was way complex. When they were just the pyramids alone, is something that man cannot rebuild, rediscover, can't tear down, can't knock apart. So it shows you, that's a living proof that it shows you the lion statue, the statues, the sculptures, the buildings, the architects that they created. Nobody can knock them down. They knocked down the walls. They might have knocked down the temple. They might have knocked down the buildings and some, art, like some art pieces. But they can't knock down the structure. Why? Because it's built on a firm foundation. Now that's a word. Put that in your notebooks. Put that wherever y'all need to put that. It's built off of a strong foundation. Once you're built off a strong foundation, you can't fall easily. Okay, so now, how did they do this? Now, they had to learn, and which is way advanced, they had to learn all the math that there is. They had to learn all the chemistry, all the socionometry, all the trigonometry, all the geometry, all of that by grouping themselves into different categories. Okay, so you'll work on the head of the stone, you'll work on the temple of the stone, you'll work on the body of the stone, and this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be presented. This is how it's going to lay out. So in the construction area field, they know, what makes different things. But how do they know what makes different things? Because they found the minerals of the earth. They found the soil. They found the good, what is it called? The silver and the iron and the zinc and all those different things and tools to use to actually build it. But they had to do the digging, they had to do the work, they had to do a lot of work to put it in place and in statue. And today it still stands up. It's still standing because nobody understands the uniqueness of the pyramid, the uniqueness of the architecture, the uniqueness of the wall. No one understands that. Even the caves that was buried underground, they're still there. The tunnels, they're still there. They run through and they run deep through the pyramids. They run deep through the places that the pharaohs once called, their kingdom, once called their home, once called their house. Okay. But like I was saying, because I'm offbeat again, I'm off the topic. They had to study all the academic parts of us, and then they had to rip it away. So, first they studied the academic parts, which is math, science, chemistry, all that, right? Then they studied how much, well, not even how much, but the population of the entire facility. So it's not just one nation. It wasn't just two nations. It wasn't just, the people that was over here. It wasn't just the group that was over here. It was different people from all over. They studied them. How do they survive? That's first. How do they survive? And after they figure out how we survive, then they figure out how we live. And once they figured out how we lived, we survived, the academic parts, then they start figuring out our social behaviors. Now, social behaviors is really big because social behavior is how you interact. That means the language that you use, the emotions that you use, the feelings that come behind it. All of that is social interaction. So when you have social encounterment, think about the things that you say, think about the things that other people say, think about the things that you might be thinking of, think about the things I might be thinking of. It's like being an overthinker, but that's just what a social interaction is. How do we communicate, and what is the best way to, communicate, whatever it may be, and whatever language it may be in, right? So they figured out all of this. Now, I shouldn't say figured out. I should say they've been taught all of this. And after they was taught the academics, the social behaviors, the grouping, all of the things that took place back in the Egyptians' time, then they said, okay, now we know what to do. And from further notices, they got kicked out. The Caucasian man was trained. And then they got kicked out. From where? From the temple. They got kicked out from where? From the countries, from the cities, from the states, from the buildings, from the continent in itself. And they got kicked out all the way to North America. Now, you might not believe me. You might say, well, this is a lie. This is a joke because in 1992 and because in 1783 and Christopher Columbus came and then he discovered. No, Christopher Columbus came and he said that there are Indians here. And they're doing well here. When they got kicked out, they discovered, well, why don't we go to America? Because America doesn't look that bad. He said, well, you go. You try first. Go ahead, Christopher. And Christopher wasn't the first person, the first white person to settle on this land, on America. It was a group of them. Okay, and that was a group of them before Christopher Columbus came. And then Christopher Columbus came and he said, oh, well, yeah, they're doing great and they're maintaining and they're surviving and they're using their tactics and this is happening and that's happening and we should go over there with them because they look like they're good people because they had nowhere to go. Mind you, because they were kicked out of every city, every state, every country. So now I have to go to America. Now, how it was divided in America was nothing like what they've been through in Asia and Africa and all of that hemispheres over there. It was nothing like that. They came over here and the people, they had tents, they had huts, they had big buildings, but they had things where it looked like they were in the wilderness. And that was the best way to explain it. The Longhorn huts, they had different huts named different things. They had different places where they eat at. They had different celebrations. They had holidays. They had different cultures that they celebrated. They had different rules that they applied towards living. And they came over here and they were like, well, we don't know how to fit over here. Like, this ain't for us. This ain't our establishment. And once they said that, they had to figure out how can we live here? Like, what can we do? So they first came and they tried to make a deal. Because guess what? That's what social engagement means. That's what spying, stalking, whatever you want to call it, that's what that does. That's what that gets you. Let's make a deal. Let's make an arrangement. Let's make a settlement. Let's make a payment. I want your land. I want your people. And I also want this whole establishment that you got going on. I want it. After they've been on this land for how long? They've been there, settled there, had great times before this white man just appeared out of the blue, out of one cloudy sky, just appeared. And now they're figuring out that, well, sooner or later, that once he got settled there, they figured out he was a troublemaker. He was a person that caused a lot of violence, a lot of separation, a lot of confusion and confliction. So they said, you know what? Guess what? You're going to get kicked out too. You can't come here to America. You can't go there to Asia and Africa. You can't go there to Europe. You're going to be kicked out everywhere. You're going to be exiled from the earth itself. They had absolutely nowhere to go. So you know what they did? Okay, we're going to behave. But this is the thing. This is what they said amongst themselves. We're going to behave, but it's going to be a cost to it. It's going to be a price tag to it. It's going to be a label to it. Because we're not just going to behave just because you said so. We do what we want. Because they had to make an establishment for themselves. They had to make a community, a nation for themselves. Now, fast forward, right? Fast forward until America, right? America is the way that it is because they settled and they took the Indians' place. And they took the Indians' place because they had nowhere else to go. So they said, okay, so we'll act nice. We'll do this. We'll do that. You would give us food. You would teach us how to hunt. You would teach us how to hunt. You would teach us how to wash up. You would teach us how to stand. You would teach us how to walk. You would teach us how to do all these different things. And once we got all these different things from you, we're going to kill you. We're going to rape you. We're going to slaughter you. We're going to murder you. Physically, mentally, spiritually, morally, supernaturally, whatever way we can get you, we are going to get you. Fast forward into today, like I said. What are they doing? Beating us, raping us, killing us, slaughtering us. It's a death house that they've created because they were not accepted nowhere. Okay, so now, like I said, because I'm trying to stay back on topic, what is the narrative? The narrative of the Caucasian man. That is the title. Okay, now we're going to talk about the soul of every human being. How do they erase our souls? First of all, you can't come to America being natural, being authentic. Yeah, I know you had land in Venezuela. I know you had land in Asia. I know you had land in Africa. But you don't get land here. You don't get free food here. You don't get free shelter here. You don't get free health. You don't get no free benefits here. You get coupons, you get discounts, you get savings. That's your freeness, your willingness. And that's pretty much all you get. Because we're going to be raising the things up. If you think the taxes is not raised up how it's supposed to be raised up, oh, it's going to be raised up to the highest estates. Watch in 2030. It's going to be raised up into the highest extent. So what they had to do was break every nation. So if you see in your family that you can't get along with your partner, you can't get along with your associates, you can't get along with your manager, you can't get along with your boss, and they're the same race, the same color, probably the same height and body size as you, and you're trying to figure out what the heck is the fact. Like, I can't get them to get along with me for nothing. I'm not saying go ahead and blame that white man, go ahead and blame that cracker, go ahead and blame the I'm not a racist. But I am saying it all came from somewhere. What is the background story? What is the root of it? What is the cause of it? And that's why I'm here talking about. I'm not no racist. I'm not here, oh, black people is amazing and they're so magnificent and so gracious, because we are. I gotta speak life into the people that's my color, the people that don't have no identity, the people that have no dignity in themselves, don't know who God is. I gotta speak to those people, but I also gotta speak to the white people too. The Caucasian too. The no color too. And the reason why being is because y'all have the same thing that we don't have. No dignity, no self-esteem, and don't know who you are, probably not where you came from. So this is to inform you. Now, of course, your story gets better because guess what? You're living the glory days right now. In 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, the prices was going so low on eggs, so low on car insurance, so low on vehicles and payments, so low on a lot of things. It was low on the cost. It was budget friendly for all of our pockets. It was budget friendly. But now we've all turned away. We've all disagreed. We've all had segregation because of what? Not because of no laws, no regulation, because those laws and rules goes into regulation that he signed off, that Donald Trump signed off, and that JFK is helping him sign off. And all the other presidents that came before him, and including Obama, including Miss Michelle, including all of them, they're helping him. It's not just Donald Trump. Okay, because yeah, this is a side conversation, but they're helping him. It's not just one person that's filling out all these papers, information. It's not one person that's cussing. It's people that's crashing out behind the scenes, and it's not because of no Donald Trump. I'm talking about crashing out in the White House and the president's official offices, because guess what? They have no more power no more. This is about who can rule, and it's always been about who can rule. It's always been about what could you offer? What could you bring to the table? That's where Thanksgiving came from. What could you bring to the table? And which is really scary, and I don't know how you take this, but Thanksgiving is not the friendly version, the happy version, the kumbaya, the kumbaya version. It really isn't. They offered their lives and they got nothing in return. I want you to think about that. They offered their lives. They sat there and poisoned the wine, the drinks. They sat there and killed them at the table. And they said, this is the agreement we created. This is the agreement you made, that you shook hands on, that you nodded your head, that you said yes to, that you said, okay, why not? The same thing that they're doing back then, they're still doing today. I said that in all my videos. Nothing has changed. Things have gotten worse, if anything. And I also want to tell you that it's going to get way worse if you don't believe in God. Okay, to make sure all the people are aligned together and what makes them separate, he has to study the universal patterns. Now, the universal patterns is something deep, because this I could talk about all day long. I could talk about this all day long. Like, for real. It has so many different topics to it, because I'm not just talking about the earth in itself. I'm talking about the moon. I'm talking about the stars. I'm talking about the sun. I'm talking about the galaxy. I'm talking about the space. I'm talking about the timeline in space. I'm talking about the different, like, it's just so much to the universe that nobody knows about. It's vast and it's big and it's amazing. And if you're not into astronomy, you should be into astronomy, because it's really amazing. Like, to see the space, to even go up there, like, OMG, it's so amazing. It's so everything that you can ever imagine and ask for. Honestly, but that's just a side jump. That's not the topic. I gotta stay on topic, y'all. Y'all gotta keep me on topic, because we're already 31 minutes in. So keep me on topic, please and thank you. Anyways. So to make sure all the people are aligned together and what makes them separate, he has to study the universal patterns first of how we evolve and how we process thinking and how we get prepared for what he's do next. So, okay. Man, because I don't have the exact dates. But you know how every time there's an asteroid finna hit Earth, how do we know? Because we have satellites. We have those digital communicational skills where they use the little devices to track the planets and how they rate and how the ratio moves and how they aligned and what they do and how they do it and all that. So this is how they track the planets. So that's how they know when it's a new cycle of Earth that comes, when it's a new alignment that's going to come, when it's a shift that's going to come, because they feel it in the planets. They see it in the planets. They see it in the cosmic. They see it in the galaxy. They see it in the other parts of the the universe, of course, and they just feel it, they see it, they act like they're entitled to it, okay? But they're not entitled to it, okay? This earth completely belongs to to the black man and to the black women, okay? And I'm not gonna say that it don't belong to white people too. It belongs to the people who serve God, who love God, who trust God, who follows his words, his assignment, who follows it all the way through, okay? And it's not just about color anymore. At first it was about color. At first it was strongly about color, because the color, it had something to do with our characteristics, it has something to do with our destiny, it has something to do with our identity, it has something to do with our life, it has something to do with our children, our generations, and all this in the third. But I really don't want you to think about color. Color is just a cover up towards what the devil is trying to hide. Your characteristics would matter way more important than color, okay? My bad, because I had to think about what the heck I was going to say, because I'm still sleepy. But your identity, right? Your identity, who you are, what you do on a daily basis, what type of deeds you make, what type of good things you have, that matters way more than what your nation looks like and where you're from. No, like, to be respectfully honest, nobody cares. Everybody cares if you have something to give, to offer to the table. And that's one thing that a lot of people are going to notice about life. If you have nothing to offer towards nobody, if you have nothing to say towards nobody that specifically helps them, that specifically, brings them closer towards something, then most likely people are going to drop you. And that's in relationships, that's in friendships, that's in family-ship, that's in courtships, that's in wherever you go. If you have nothing to offer to the table, please keep walking. All right, now I'm going to talk about how the separation in the universe, how we all are separated from the universe. Now, we all have different religions. From these different religions, we have different nations. From this different nation, we have different cultures. From this different culture, we have different beliefs. From this different beliefs, we have different. So, like for example, in the church, there's different versions of the Bible. There's different versions of Christians. There's different versions of the word. There's different versions of how you're supposed to dress. There's different versions of trends. There's different versions. So he has made it a diversity inside of a culture, inside of a nation, inside of a family. It's so much diversity. It's so much separation that nobody thinks alike. Everybody is divided some way, somehow, because something is not aligned. In order to get everybody aligned, in order to get everybody connected, everybody together like in one piece, right? Everybody must be thinking and believing in the same thing. You can't be a nation if you have another thought. You can't be a nation. You can't be a civilization. If you can't even be friends. Let's not talk about friends. Let's talk about relationship. You can't even be mother and father. You can't even be sister and brother if you have no relations to one another. You have no connection to one another. You can't call yourself real family. Like, and I hate when people do that. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's my mom, that's my daddy." You really don't have a mama and daddy because they are in a whole different universe. They're in a whole different alignment with you. Okay, and that could be spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody got a mom and daddy physically, but I'm talking about spiritually. People have actually lost the love and the passion and the drive and the mercy of God because of the fact that the division is so big now. It's just everything is everywhere, and there's no type of discipline, there's no type of structure, there's no type of love. When you have no type of discipline, no type of structure, no type of unity, and that's where all of the chaos happens. That's where the confusion happens. What you believe in, why you believe in it. Who told you to believe in Abraham? Who told you to believe in Moses? Who told you to believe in Jesus? Jesus is not God. God is not Jesus. Jesus, this and that, and that's where everything starts to separate. That's where we talking about today, 2027, 2026, 2025. We've been talking about who's a real pastor. What can they preach? No, they're a singer, they're a dancer, they're an actor, they're not a pastor. No, they're the church people, but they also do, twerking and drinking and cussing on the side. So they're not real because we're judging people now because of the division that we've created in every single culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Japanese. I'm a certain type of Japanese. Now there's certain types of Japanese. I'm not Asian. I'm a certain type of Asian. There's certain type of Asians. I'm a certain type of like. And it's hectifying because why would you want to be a certain type of something? Why can't you just be who you created to be? Now this is part of identity, but I showed you the identity and I spoke about the identity a while back. Now, the identity plays a big part because if you don't know who you are, what you do, what type of deeds you have, what's going on in your life, then you're cooked and you're just cooked in life. Like you might as well wrap it up because you're cooked in life. Why would you not know who you are? Why would you want to not know who you are? Why would you not want to know who you came from? Why would you not want to know who created you? That is like the essentials of life. That is just like the little tidbit of life. That's the little particle of life. Getting to know what you are, what you came from. Okay? Now I'm gonna talk about how human beings in the timeline, because I said the evolution of every single soul and every single human being. So every time, because I'm getting off topic because that was what I was supposed to be talking about. But every single time that there's something new that's going on in the cosmic system, there's something new that's going on in the planets and the stars and space, right? There's something new happening on Earth. That means either the planets are shifting, and that means the earth could be shifting a little bit slower or a little bit faster. Something could be increasing in the planet, something could be decreasing in the planet, something could be outweighed, something could be weighted, something could be scaled in a different way because, the width, the circumference, the things that the earth holds itself on, the equator that the earth holds itself on, it can all be changed. It can all be reevacuated. It can all be either slowed down or it can either be speed up. It could either have some type of effect on the core of the earth or the mantle of the earth, and it could also have effect on the sky, which is what we call the heavens of the earth, right? So it can have different effects, and you could see those different effects because you'll be seeing different stars, you'll be seeing different things, you'll be seeing different creation. Now, how does this work on earth? We have mood swings. This is what I was talking about. Like, do you feel that cosmic energy? Do you feel like that planet aligned energy? Do you feel like the universal energy? We can feel that because guess what? We're connected towards what? The universe. We're connected towards God, and God made the universe, so we're connected towards one another. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, every time that something happens, every time something new happens, we could feel it. And it changes in the spirit first, and then it changes in the soul and the mind and the body and all the different ways and to be about, right? That's how it changed. But for it, it takes some time to change. It won't happen rapidly. Sometimes it does happen rapidly. So sometimes when they say manifesting is so real. Positive affirmation, negative affirmations are so real. Okay, chakras, all the things that the spiritual lovers and the spiritual people do, it is so real. Especially if you believe in it. Once you believe in it, it's nothing to say it's not real. Let me tell you something about belief. Once you believe in something, it naturally happens for you. Now, sometimes it might be against your will, it might be against your good, it might not be good for you, but guess what? Once you believe in it, it comes true. Okay, now, people say they don't believe in that. That's up to you to believe in it. That's up to you to study it. That's up to you to know about it. You can do your own research because I'm not a spiritualist. I'm not going to sit here and tell you every single thing that they do, every single thing that they say, whatever they believe in. I'm not going to tell you that because this is not the topic of the subject. That was just a little gem. Now I have to really stay on the topic because if I don't stay on the topic, we're gonna be here for another 3 hours trying to get this one topic of the narrative of the Caucasian man, okay? And that's what we're talking about. Now, how does he study? So once the planet changes, right? The mood changes, the environment shifts. So we might wake up at 12 o'clock, might want to do nothing. We could be like, ugh, I hate everybody, I don't want to be here, I feel depressed, I feel lonely, whatever this case may be. And sometimes it's not because of what you're eating, it's not because of what you're watching, it's not because of what you're listening to. It's literally because of the planet's shifting in its alignment in the universe. And that has a big change on Earth. So once you have a change on Earth, now it's a change with everybody. It's a change with everything. So once something new is born onto the universe, once a new creature is born onto this planet, once a new rule is established from the heavens towards this earth, now we have to all abide by it. Now we have to all agree to it. We all have to align to it. And this is why the devil does not want you to know anything spiritually, anything supernaturally, anything that has anything to do with your soul, your purpose, your identity, because everything connects. Once you find out one thing, you'll find out many other things because they're all connected. It's just like you drinking water, okay? Ice and water is the same thing, okay? Ice and water is the same thing. You know why? Because it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual world and the soulful world is the exact same thing. Okay, and I talk about the spiritual world, and I talk about how we get here and what we need to do to maintain and things like that. So y'all need to go on my other video. Y'all need to like, share, repost, subscribe, comment it, and y'all need to go tell y'all friends about that video. Okay, but like I said, everything is all connected. So they have to study. So this is why they're up there. This is why they're in the universe. This is why, because they're studying how the frequency of the waves go, how the dynamics of the planets go, what is the circumference from Earth to Mars, from Jupiter to Uranus, and from Saturn to Venus, and so is it any other planets is it any other planets in the next universe? How long is it going to take for the sun to explode? Because all these different things, because first of all, like I said in the other video, they're trying to erase all of our culture. Okay? I'm talking about the black people, I'm talking about us, I'm talking about the black nation, erasation, right? They're trying to erase all of us out little by little, you know, because we see it in Africa, we see it in Asia, we see it somewhere, we see it everywhere. We see it in America, we see it in Africa, we see it in Asia. Now it's just a matter of time for all of us to go. There's a reason why they're poisoning the food, they're poisoning the water, poisoning the bugs, poisoning the trees, poisoning the grass, poisoning the soil, poisoning the seeds, poisoning. It's a reason why. Because they don't want us to have no escape, no way of God helping us, because it's either I'm going to lead you to sin, and once I lead you to sin, you're not going to want to naturally do the will of God. You're not going to want to repent. You're not going to want to share the word. You're not going to want to spread the gospel. You're not going to want to be a Christian, be a Muslim. You're not going to want to be a spiritual person. You're not going to want to know about your nature. You're not going to want to know about your culture. You're not going to want to do that. And once you don't want to do that, all I have to do is put you in a gluttony state. All I have to do is put you in a lazy state. Once I put you in a lazy state, then you'll go to sleep. You'll fall asleep. You'll fall asleep in the spiritual realm. You'll fall asleep in the physical realm. And you just won't get up. You will do everything that I say. If I say work a 9 to 5, you will work a 9 to 5. If I say go party all day, all night, you will go party all day and all night. If I say go and, kill somebody, you will go and kill somebody, because you have no control over your flesh, over your spirit, over your emotions, over your soul, and most definitely over your mind. So if I can control that thing, technically you already sold your soul. Because you're willing to do anything it takes for attention, for validation, for eviction, for clarification, for whatever type of satisfaction you're looking for. You would rather sell your soul, sell your spirit, sell who you are to gain a whole new identity than to take the little pain that God has already created, already established for you, that God has for you. You would rather take that. And if you're okay with that, then you can scroll off this video. This video was not for you, but I thank you so much for staying. If you're not okay with that, then you know it's time for a change. You could see it, you could feel it, you understand it, and you know it. So let's not run away from it. Let's try to cope with it. Let's try to get some understanding, some clarity from it, right? Because running away, like no, it's not going to lead you nowhere. The storm is going to come because that's life. Things are going to happen bad because that's life. Nothing is good in life except what you make it. Now, if you look in a perception and say everything is good in life, it is what you believe it is. If you say everything is bad in life, it is what you believe it is. The world is just a perception, how you perceive it. But that's another gem. Now, I have to go back into this thing because, like I said, it's 47.15 seconds, 17 seconds into the video. Okay, so yeah, I have to hurry up because I know y'all don't want to stay here forever, and I know y'all tired of talking to me. I know y'all tired of looking at me, but it's okay. Thank you for staying this long. And if you stayed this long, I didn't say this, but go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification button. Go ahead and put something in that comment to let me know that you understand what I'm saying. To let me know that you understand what I'm talking about. Okay? And thank you so much. I thank you so much for staying. I thank all the people that have stayed and that have, subscribed. And I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but, when I do get a lot of subscribers, I am going to give back. I'm going to give back towards the people that helped me. I'm going to give back towards the people that wanted to help me in any way, in any cause, in any way I can. So, of course, if you're struggling and you say, hey, I'm your favorite number one top subscriber, girl, what you doing? I got you. Okay, I got you. I see you. I notice you. Thank you so much. Like I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to the video, get back into the topic, right? Okay, so to make sure all the people are aligned together and what makes them separate has to study universe patterns, how we evolve, and how to process things, how we get paid, so we act on what to do next. Yeah. So that's how he preparates himself into what to do next. So now it says, so if there is a new rebirth in the cosmos, that means there's a new atmosphere, and that means we're going to feel in the divine shift. Now, see, like I said in all the other videos, things are waking up. People are waking up. Environments are waking up. People are not getting peace. They're not getting sleep. They're not getting their normal comfort that they're usually. So everybody is discomfort right now. Like I said, there's a war going on. Excuse me, because everybody is discomfort right now. Everybody got something going on right now. And my something, I'm not talking about like, we're just busy dealing with high prices. We're dealing with kids. We're dealing with, our family members. We're dealing with friends. We're dealing with divorce. We're dealing with marriage. Even though it's a lot of marriage going on right now, it's a lot of reuniting in the spirit. It's a lot of happiness going on. It's a lot of joy going on. But so is it a lot of war going on. So is a lot of pestilence going on. So is a lot of justice going on. So it's a lot of civilization going on. So it's everything coming to about because, like I said, it's time for a new world. It's time for a new universe. It's time for a new planet, a new system. And y'all gonna like it. All the people that are righteous, all the people that are God, all the people that love God, y'all gonna like it. Y'all gonna love it. Y'all going to understand every single pain he put you through, every single struggle. I said every single struggle that he put you through, you're going to understand it. You're going to be like, I understand what he was doing. I understand what he was saying. I understand what that meant. You know what? And this is not so bad after all. That's not so bad after all. You're going to say that. You're going to realize that. It's going to be sooner or later. It's going to be later than sooner. I don't know. Whichever one for you, whichever one you believe in, whatever. Like I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to the topic now. How we process things is really big because all people don't process the same thing. Like you will talk English to a Jamaican person. That Jamaican person only know half English. They don't know what you're talking about. You will talk English to a French person. That French, they don't speak English, they speak French. So you'll know half of what they're saying, but not exactly everything to hold up a different conversation, right? So you will speak your language to other cultures and to other people, and they won't understand. Now, this is spiritually. For all my people that know, they know. Certain people you can't speak certain things to because they just don't understand you. Certain people you can't say nothing to. You can't be even around them, probably in a room, not because you hate them, not because you dislike them, but because they don't understand you and you don't understand them. Am I wrong or am I right? So now when it comes to finding who you want to be around, when it comes to finding your actual people, when it comes to finding your actual friends, it's gonna be hard. Okay, at first it's gonna be hard because everything is hard at first, and then it eases down because you understand it more. But when it comes to this specific thing, language, communication, is really difficult because we are illiterate. Well, not illiterate. We don't have the literature that we used to have. We don't speak the same. We don't listen the same. We don't talk the same. And we definitely, most definitely, out of all the things I just said, we don't understand. So somebody can preach the gospel, somebody can preach the word, somebody can walk you to the water, but they cannot make you drink it. If you don't understand, the best question would be is to ask whatever you don't understand the best way possible. Get somebody that speaks your language. Get somebody that understands you. Get somebody, if you're new and beginning in Christ, get somebody that's new and beginning in Christ too. Don't get somebody that's advanced, because then they're gonna be trying to judge you. Then they're gonna be okay, well, I've already been through that, so I know what you're supposed to be. They're gonna be trying to direct your pathway. That's not cool. Even though if God says, okay, now get somebody that's advanced, that's more articulate than you, and that can help you, okay, that's cool, because that could be your coach, that could be your teacher, whatever, that's cool. But you need somebody that's a friend just like you, so y'all can understand. Hey, do you understand this verse? Hey, do you understand this instruction? Hey, did you get assignment like this? Hey, so y'all can actually unite. This is how you unite, because the reason is that we're all separate is because we all speak different languages, body languages also. When you walk up to a person, you're not supposed to have your hands crossed. Put your hands down. Okay, you're not upset, you're calm your nervous system down, calm your blood system down, calm your the bloodstream cells down. Okay, the more and more you stay knotted up, that's the more and more knots you have in your body. So release, let loose, let go. Okay, and I also want to tell you that the more and more you do this is the more and more people don't walk up to you, they don't talk to you. So if you want to know how you get friends, how you get partners, how you get coworkers to like you, you don't loosen. You loosen up. You let loose. It's okay to let loose sometimes with emotions, with thoughts, with patterns, and with people. Most definitely environments. I could tell you some stories about environments, but it's okay to let loose, let go. Sometimes so it's gonna be difficult at first, like I said, but then it's gonna ease up. Always. Always gonna ease up. Okay? Now, I don't know what part I was just on, so we're gonna have to read it all over again, and y'all gonna stay because y'all stayed this long. Like the loyal people, y'all stayed this long. Y'all stayed for 60 minutes. Yes, y'all did. Okay, anyways. Um, he has to study the universe, the patterns. Okay, for what he acts on. So if there's a new rebirth, the cosmos, there will be a new growth on the shift. So yeah, like the divine shift. Okay, the goal, like I already said, is to get us away from the divine source. So he is trying to get us away from the. But I already told you that. If you follow me, y'all already know. Y'all catching up to data. Y'all, I don't have to keep repeating myself. Y'all understand what the divine shift look like. It looks like heaven made on earth, but it comes with pain. It comes with sacrifice first. Oh yes, it comes with some arguing. Comes with some fighting. Comes with some throwing some bottles and tables. It's all right though. That's all right. Because guess what? Whatever needs to be done, it has to be established regardless. So if you say, I'm not going to be a general cursor in my family, somebody else is, that somebody else is going to have to pass the baton. Okay? That somebody else is going to have to pass the baton to that person. That somebody else got to have to, and they're just going to have to keep running because we have to get to the finish line. Okay, so for all my new general cursor persons, I want to tell you thank you. You're doing good, okay? And I'm gonna make a video for y'all. I see you. You're doing absolutely good. You're doing excellent. And you know what? When people are doing something new, nobody gets congratulated. Nobody gets recognized. Nobody get awarded. And I want to tell you, for all the people, and you might, if you stay this long, this is the only way you're gonna get your congratulations and your flowers virtually. But if you are a person that does new things, that like to have new experiences and like to do just mix and match things up in the way about, you know what? Congratulations. You're winning already. You're doing something different. You're learning something different. You're talking different. You're acting different. And that glow, that hit up, that money, that financial situation finna be different, okay? From everybody else's in your family. That way that you carry yourself, it's finna be different. You finna have a glow up. And I'm gonna speak life into you right now because guess what? I believe in you. All for all my baby girls and for all my baby males, that's a generational curse breaker. You got this. Just because it looks hard, like I said, okay, just because nobody has done it, just because you don't know what you're doing, just because you're unexperienced, you're untrained, that is okay. All of that is okay. I just want to say thank you. But I'm gonna hurry up and get to the video because I don't want to keep y'all for a lot of time. It's already been an hour. So I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna say the goal, like I already said, is to get us away from the divine source and the divine nature that God has connected to, which is him in any way possible. Any way possible, from the food, from the water, from the spiritual, from the supernatural, from the mental, from the emotional, from the stages of life. He's trying to recreate the seed so we won't have as much as knowledge as we do. We won't have as much as ability as we do. And that is what the Caucasian man is doing. He has a way of making himself known. But you have to have a way of making yourself known also. And it's not the way that, fighting. It's not the way of arguing. It's not the way of killing things and terrorizing things. Even though I know that's what you want to do. I know. But you have to make yourself known as far as finding out who you are and getting into your purpose. Finding out what's your destiny look like. What's the end of that? What's the end of this journey look like? Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I going to be building it with? And you have to ask yourself these questions. There's some serious questions. You're going to have to spend some a long time. You're going to have to do some self-reflection, some healing, that stuff sucks. It's a process of it where it feels actually good, though. I can tell you that one. But you're going to have to go through all these challenges to build you. Everything is to build you, not to destroy you, especially if you ain't died and you know you have 10 testimonies to tell. You know, come on now. Ain't nobody gonna tell you. You've been through it all. You've known it all. So start acting on what you know. If you say you big boss, you big tough, start acting on what you know. But like I already said, the narrative of the Caucasian man is to get us separated. I'm not talking about all Caucasian. I'm not talking about all white people. Please don't think I'm a racist. I'm talking about the people that are in high power, high authorities. This earth, they want for themselves. Because they were what? Exiled. They were what? Pressured. And for that pain, they don't want a nation to live. They don't want us to survive, to thrive, and darn sure live. And I want you to think about that as you're voting. I want you to think about that as you're talking amongst your partners and you're saying what bills we're going to pay. To make yourself known, all you have to do is go against it. No. Absolutely. Heck no. Y'all know how y'all get down and say the words y'all say. But that's all you have to do. And watch the whole perception change. And there might be another video about this, but I hope it's not an hour long because I didn't mean to make it an hour long, y'all. I swear to God, I didn't. I don't even have enough, like literally in the notes, I don't even have enough like words to make it an hour long. Like this was all the words that I had. And I don't even have enough to make it an hour long. So I don't even know. This just came out of my mouth. This just came out of my mind because all of the studies from Minister Farrakhan that I've been reading, been analyzing, been looking and studying and hearing and listening to. I can't make it without him. That's my pastor. That's that preacher. Okay? That's that one. That man. But most definitely, he is a minister that gives life into people and let them know the truth. By all means necessary. But the narrative of the Caucasian man is for him to be king and us to be non-existent. So, as always, good morning, good evening, and good night. See ya.